Hello, hello. Welcome to the weekly live stream of the Rotoscopers. I am Morgan Stradling, and I'm going to be here today. I am excited. So, as we're getting going with the live, just give a little update on what's been happening in my life. Can't show you right now, but I am in a boot. I had an injection in my foot for some foot pain that I've had, and it was PRP, which is platelet rich plasma. They draw your blood, they centrifuge it so it separates the plasma from the other part of the blood. And the plasma is the stem cells. They call it liquid gold, and they inject that back in. And so it's supposed to help stimulate, growth factors and just healing. So I'm hoping it works. So I have been in the boot for a week and a half, and I have to be in the boot for 2 weeks. So I am just clunking around with this giant contraption, and I'm really excited to get it off, and hopefully it helps a lot. So, yeah, that's what I'm up to. And the other thing is when I get off this is I have been making soap. I have a little tallow balm business that I do for fun. It's like friends and family. I do a few local markets here and there, just something to do. I mean, I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. Like I find something, I'm like, this is interesting. I want to do this. And so I've been doing that for a few years. And so the soap needs to be cut, and then it has to cure for 4 weeks before it's ready to go. So yeah, that's what my day has been. How has your day been? We are going to jump into the box office now. So just to talk about what we're doing right here, we will be reviewing the box office for last weekend, which was the 4th of July weekend, and talk about the various movies. There's mainly Minions and Monsters, and then Toy Story 5, and we'll look at everything else that's happening there. And as far as news stories, there weren't really a lot of news stories that I saw this week that I really wanted to talk and focus on. I was reading through an article with the directors from Hexed, and it was just, but I couldn't. I was a little late to the game reading that. So we might talk about the first half of that one, and maybe we'll talk about the rest. But all right, before we get started, we have some, I see Jeremiah here, Lauren Rodriguez. She says, "Hi, Morgan. I hope you're doing well. Becca and I listened to your Toy Story 5 review. Blaze is awesome. I'm excited to see Toy Story 5 with Becca next week. It's heartfelt and healing." She also says, "My favorite Toy Story characters have always been Jessie, Woody, and Trixie. As for new characters, I love Atlas and Snappy." Yes, lots of fun new characters. I was thinking about Toy Story 5. At this point, we have quite the cast of characters. There's so many toys in the toy box here. And I was really thinking Toy Story 3 did it phenomenally well. They had a very established cast of characters. We introduced some new ones with Bonnie's toys, and then some of the toys from the daycare. And I feel that film, it's perfectly balanced with, as far as everyone getting some time to shine. It doesn't feel like they have one line like, okay, we check that off the box. They actually have meatier parts of the story, right? Here's Jeremiah. He says, "Hi, Morgan. I'm here with my various limbs still attached. I hope the medication works and your foot pain feels better." Thank you. I know I said last week, guys, we don't want to be losing those limbs with 4th of July celebration. So, Jeremiah, thank you for completing the assignment properly. And and then he also says, "I love Trixie. She's so underrated. Christian Shaw rocks." Yes, Trixie's really fun. Don't feel like that's the problem. I feel like Trixie is like another one pushed to the sidelines because she's the other dinosaur, right? And Rex was barely in this new one, but yeah. Okay, everybody. So let's jump into the box office. Oh no, did I remove? Okay, here we go. Add to stage. Oh, no, we don't need to see me so big. We want to see this. All righty, here you go. Here is the box office for the week. I'm using the numbers this time just to kind of talk about the various things that happen. So let's hop over to the domestic box office for the weekend of July 3rd. And so we had Minions and Monsters at number one, $37 million, which was very not great for what they were expecting. We'll go to a different chart, which kind of talks about what they were predicting and what they ended up being. Toy Story 3, this was its third weekend, dropped to number 2 with $30.3 million. And then the other new film that came out was Young Washington, just barely got under $20 million, $19.3 million the weekend. Big 4th of July, very Americana. And we can see the different theaters that they were in. We have, around 4,000 theaters, another one around 4,000, but a little bit less. And then this one just a little under 3,000 theaters. So if we're going here, we're talking about Minions and Monsters. I really liked Minions and Monsters. I thought that it was pretty funny. It overall did a really great job. It was a surprising Minions film that just didn't feel like we were like rehashing the same thing over and over, even though it kind of is. But the Hollywood aspect, I really enjoyed, and I thought that was really fun. And then it kind of peters off around the 45-minute mark. And people, I thought, okay, like this one's going to do really well, but it seems like this weekend just didn't do well for a lot of films. So they have this report right here. It says weekend projections means off to a slow 61.4 million 5-day opening. So this was on the 5th, they posted this. It was expected to have 36.4 million over the 3-day weekend. And if you're looking right here, they have this really cool chart that shows what the predicted box office was and the actual. And it also shows what percentage of that is going to be. So both Monsters and Minions and Monsters and Toy Story just had 70% of what it was predicted they were going to do over the weekend. And so I think that's, to me, just looking at it, Toy Story, you would expect to kind of follow the trend that it had established at that point. So the fact that both Minions and Monsters and Toy Story 5 kind of experienced this very similar trajectory makes me think that it just was not the strongest weekend overall for box office. Now we have Young Washington, which 99% basically hit its mark, what they were expecting. But again, it kind of goes with more of the holiday. But it does say that obviously, that we had the 250th birthday that weekend, as well as the ongoing World Cup. And I think that may be a big part of it. A lot of people are watching the World Cup. If you're watching the World Cup, let me know. What teams are you going for? I mean, now that USA is out, we have to find, for me, I have to find a default other team. And for me, it's Norway all the way. That Norwegian player, Haaland, is Haaland. Is that his name? He is my favorite. I love him so much. So that is my team all the way. But a lot of people are watching it who normally would not probably be. Americans are not known for watching for soccer. So that's a lower tier sport for us compared to American football and basketball and, a lot of things. So, and baseball specifically. So the fact that there's watch parties, like all the places that I go, I see watch parties. My gym's having a watch party. World Cup, I think, is taking a lot of entertainment eyeballs away from the movie screens. And so until the World Cup wraps up, it'll be interesting to see how the box office does, if we're going to continue to see these lower numbers. But these two films, Minions and Monsters and Toy Story 5, which are the family films of the bunch, fared the worst out of these. Some of these, and then Supergirl, but Supergirl is Supergirl and really had a bad start from the very beginning. So I think that's interesting. And Young Washington, like we talked about. So I want to go back over to, let's look at the Minions. So on here, you can see the summary of how it's doing, but you can also see this fun graph where you can see how it's cumulatively doing. And this is just domestic right here. And then it's kind of showing where it falls. Other films similarly like this. It says the shaded area represents the daily performance of movies released in the past 5 years after the end of their first weekend, ranging between the bottom 10% and top 10% of performers. So with that, we're seeing that Minions and Monsters, after this, it's kind of just right in the middle, maybe a little bit above the median. So it's kind of doing average what to expect. It's not this movie that's going to completely just blow out of the water. So yeah, maybe there is Minions fatigue here. It'll be interesting to see where they go from this. Are they saying, okay, do the Minions need a rest for a little bit? I can't remember if there's been any other Despicable Me films greenlit. Are we getting a Despicable Me 5? I wouldn't be surprised if we weren't. But maybe this is the one where we're going to tap the brakes a little bit. So yeah, so we can see, just looking at the first week, and I like this right here. Also, they have the weekend box office, and they're just going to give you the numbers of each weekend that you can see. So I really like the way that they format this. Then you can see the daily box office, and then they give the weekly box office. So the first every 7 days. So you can see. So, Yeah, so for and this one isn't correct. June 26th shouldn't that's incorrect. So we'll ignore that one. But we got so this was a 5-day and the 5th was a Sunday. So right now we have their 7-day. We don't have the others, but it did pretty good on the Tuesday bump. Okay. And let's go back and look at Toy Story. So Toy Story has been really, really interesting. Toy Story did amazing, right? We've talked about this. So we're looking at its opening weekend, 159.6 million, then dropped about 56% to 70.8 million. And then finally, in its third week, finally just hit number 2, this is amazing for this film, 30.3 million. And it's having a very kind of somewhat consistent 57% drop with that. And if we're looking at the chart here, was trending really well for the first week or so, and now it's kind of pushing to the median. So we're not seeing that trajectory where it's just going to continually ride this wave. It really was front heavy with people seeing this movie from the very beginning, excited about it, and now that other things, Minions, maybe taking a little way up from that, it's kind of nestling right where we expect it to be. So, and yeah. Okay. So interesting stuff right there. And then while we're at it, let's look at Young Washington. Not animated, but it's kind of the one that people were interested in seeing. I'm interested in seeing it. I think I may see it Friday if I can get a babysitter, but I am going to be seeing. Well, I'll hold that off. But okay, so here we have the first week or so of this, and it's trending what we expect. So which makes sense with the law of numbers, is that the majority of films that are released are probably going to fall right in the median, and you're going to have exceptions on the tail end. So this, I'd like to go and see Masters of the Universe, because and let's look at Supergirl to see these ones that are bombs and see how they are faring. Yeah. Okay. So interesting. You're seeing Master of the Universe. I mean, I did not enjoy this film. You can go listen to my podcast, rotoscopers.com/369 to see my review of Masters of the Universe. Wasn't my cup of tea, but at the same time, I have a weird fondness for this. I want it to do well, even though I didn't like it, just because I really I like seeing films bomb that much, so. So this one, but this is kind of what we're expecting of more of a bomb, where the line is right here. And man, look at this. It is not even climbing hardly anything, maybe 1 million a day at the very end. Oh, poor Prince Adam. And then Supergirl, let's see if this one, wow. Okay. So not as bad. I'm looking back and forth. Yeah, I mean, this one has more data points. The other one has more data points to see where it's at. It has more time. But this one's kind of following similar curve. So interesting. So you can go to the-numbers.com if you ever want to play around with these and check out financials. They have fun graphs, and I really like the way that they have everything. So that was really fun. So talking about other movies we're going to see this weekend, I'm going to pause real quick, take a drink. And before I do, let's see if there are any comments relating to this. Oh, everyone's saying really nice things about my foot. Thank you. I hope your foot feels better soon. I'll be praying for you. What flavors? Oh, we'll talk about my soap at the very end. And hope your foot feels better. Listen to Toy Story 5 and agree with your sentiments exactly. Well, thank you. Thank you. I mean, as I was editing that, I'm like, man, I really didn't enjoy this film. And this is my take. A lot of other people seem to enjoy it. So maybe I'm one of the only ones. And Chelsea was very, kind of more fond of it than I was. So I'm glad there's others like us, right? Who just it wasn't for me. There were aspects I liked, but it wasn't for me. So talking about other things that, not that maybe aren't for me, but maybe this isn't for me, is Moana. So Moana live action is coming out this weekend. It opens tomorrow. Tonight are the Thursday previews. And that's the movie that I was saying that I was probably going to see. I want to get a review done of this, and I might be doing have some guest hosts for the next few episodes. And so I want to see this tonight. I might be seeing an 8:30 showing. Just even though I don't want to see it. Does that make sense? If I want to do it because I'm doing a podcast on it. But if that was all removed, I don't think I would see this movie out of principle. There was a very, very long period of time where I did not see live action remakes because I was boycotting them. It was a good 5-year chunk. I just didn't see them. I still have not seen The Lion King. I gave a few a chance and then just didn't love them. And then I said, nope, we will not do this anymore. And that was after Aladdin. And then we, needed some films to review. And so last year we ended up watching a whole bunch of the live action remakes on the podcast and ended up seeing quite a few of them. I still haven't seen Lion King. I still haven't seen Dumbo, and saw Snow White last year. And that one was fun. I mean, if there's anything, at least I can have Morgan rants on some of these films. But okay, so if we're shifting over to this upcoming weekend, unfortunately, we may have another bomb on our hands. This is from Hollywood Handle, says the Moana live action remake is on track for a $130 million global opening weekend. Budget was $200, one of the worst openings for a Disney live action remake. For comparison, Little Mermaid did $186 and Cinderella $132. I mean, can you really compare anything to Cinderella? I don't know. Cinderella is such a different animal as far as like the type of remakes. And speaking of that, I pulled this up. Oh, no. Well, while we're here, so there's already some new. This is from Shafrillas. Is that how you say his name? I watch his videos and his reviews on YouTube. Yeah, and his avatar is Tamatoa from Moana. Speaking of, but if we're looking at Rotten Tomatoes, these are the things. Whenever I'm going on the Rotten Tomatoes things for these past live streams, like I wanted something like this, where it's like, show me the other films in this franchise or similar things, so we can compare. So Moana had a 95% Rotten Tomatoes score, Moana 2, 61%, and the Moana live action currently, I mean, it's very, very fresh, new. I mean, it's not fresh. It doesn't have as many reviews. Obviously, we have about like a fifth of the reviews compared to the other ones so far. So we'll see. But right now it's at 32%, not faring well for this. And I think people it's only been about 18 months since we had the last one, since we had Moana 2. And with Moana 2, we know the history with that one, where it was this television show that was converted. It was this Disney Plus thing that they were doing. And people went out and saw it because Moana was the highest not the highest grossing, but it was the the most streamed property for years on Disney Plus. And so there was a lot of goodwill with the Moana brand going into Moana 2. And I think people, although they said they like it, I haven't never heard anyone talk about Moana 2 since. I don't hear people sing the songs. It's like it was a blip in the radar. Oh, we saw that. That was fun. Next, right? Put in the next chip. And yeah, that's not great, because I think the goodwill with Moana was lost a little bit with that one. And so we have Moana. So we talked about Moana last week, but this live action, it just doesn't. Why would I see the remake when I can watch the original? The original has everything that I want in a Disney film. It has the color, it has the animation, it has the quirkiness and the humor. And a lot of times with these, they end up having to make them more serious. Let's make it more realistic. And let's make it more realistic with no songs. And I'm going to pull this up. I saw an interesting tweet. Let's see if I can make this bigger. Here we go. This is from aficionado __. I've designed the Disney remake triangle. The three main films encapsulate the three distinct approaches to Disney takes when remaking their animated films. Every other Disney remake is a combination of these two approaches. So I saw this and I thought, yes, this is perfect, because we've always talked about what type of Disney remake is this? Is this like a faithful adaptation? Is this a new twist? And so let's start with Cinderella. Cinderella is the faithful elevation. So you're taking the source material. In this case, it's the Disney 1950s animated film, not the original fairy tale. So you're taking that and you're going to elevate it faithfully. How can we deepen the story is the tagline. Total departure from the source material, but with changes that pay homage to the original while still being able to stand alone on its own as its own film with its own feel. Then we have over here, this is the incoherent overcorrection. Quote, let's fix the original. This is a total departure from the source material, but with nonsensical and incoherent changes that undermine the way the characters are constructed. That is Mulan. That is another one I have not seen. I have not seen Mulan. Let's see. This has a nice list of things that I can. Okay, yeah. So I haven't seen Little Mermaid. I haven't seen Mulan. I haven't seen Lion King and Dumbo. There's other ones. Yeah. Okay. So there's that one. No. Okay. Let's do the same. This is redundant. Let's do the same film, but bad. No changes from the source material, same exact story beats, one-to-one retelling with bad visuals, dull performances, watered down music, and overwhelming feeling of why does this exist? So they need to put okay, so then we have like this middle ground in between. So we have Maleficent that's kind of in between. I'm not going to call them by these things. I'm just going to say in between Mulan and Cinderella. Like to me, that like encapsulates. And then we have a whole bunch here in the middle, in between Moana and Mulan. We have Snow White. I see Jasmine. I want to say Jasmine, Aladdin, Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Peter and Wendy. And then Jungle Book is in between Moana and Cinderella with Jungle Book and The Little Mermaid. So interesting. It'll be interesting to see if this kind of does it puts a nail in the coffin. I mean, I say that and I know that's not true. There's no nail in the coffin for these things. Disney loves them. They make decent amount of money. Has there been one yet that's been considered a bomb? I'd love to pull up. I wish I could create like custom charts on here on the numbers where I could go and just put all of the, maybe there is a report where you can do that, but it'd be interesting to see where all those stack up. And well, I guess Snow White, right? Snow White did not do great. Can I pull this up? Let's just do it live. Okay, Snow White. Oop. Not franchise. There you are. Disney's Snow White is what they called it. Whew. Well, I mean, interesting. Okay. Yeah, that was bomb. And there was a lot of press for this one. Not press, but there was a lot of hullabaloo leading up to this that I think overall people just did not appreciate what this was doing. So Snow White didn't stop them. Why would Moana? You have to think that Moana would fare a little better unless Snow White already did the damage and Moana was already in production, things were moving along, and it's just going to suffer a similar fate. So let's look up Cinderella while we're at it. Cinderella. Pretty mid. It's like right along, barely under the median. But did pretty okay. Is there anything else? Another one I should look up? Little Mermaid. I didn't see this one. I think this was while I was still boycotting them all. And then eventually the next 2 years. Yeah, I mean, so they're doing okay. And then Lilo and Stitch, I think, actually did. Is it Lilo and? Or do they have the ampersand? Where are you? Okay. 2025 Lilo and Stitch. Even Lilo and Stitch wasn't, I mean, it's hard because we're looking at this graph of the median for, similar performers. It's kind of just right what they expect, but didn't it break $1 billion? Let's see, summary. See, this part I don't really like. It's like, what's happening here with all of this text? We need to clean this up a little bit. Oh, up here at the top, duh. Okay. Getting oriented to this new thing. So it did just barely do over 1 million or billion. And then the Little Mermaid, it did 569 overall. Cinderella, I mean, that was nearly 10 years prior, did around 500 million. And Snow White, oh, I forgot. I was just looking at this graph. I forgot how terrible that did. 205 million overall. I mean, that has to be the worst of the worst so far. And then we can't really see for these other ones. Mulan, other ones that were notably bad. Pinocchio. Those were hidden forever. So, yeah, okay. All right. Let's. That's really all I have for today. Just looking at the box office. Let's do some comments. Lauren says they should do animated She-Ra and Princess of Power film based on the Netflix shows with Amy Carrero as Adora. It would be awesome. I've heard that the She-Ra Netflix is quite good. Have not seen it though. Little Coffee Bandit says, I'd be interested if you did a live action remakes rant episode every now and then. Always entertaining. We'll all be united in our dislike for them. Do most people feel this way? I feel like most fans of Disney, I don't know. I know people who are big Disney fans who just eat them up and love them. But yeah, okay. I could do, yeah. Morgan rants are great. All right, Lauren says it. I'm excited for Moana 3. It would be awesome if Moana and Samia went on a sister adventure. Ah, her little sis. You think she's going to grow up? Jeremiah says Little Mermaid in particular had such dark colors, especially underwater. It could have been Bruce from Nemo attacking Ariel, that for all I could see. Many of the performances were bizarrely stiff and unemotional. It was largely a slog to watch. What a huge contrast to the brilliant original. Probably my favorite of the personal favorite of the Renaissance. Yeah, that's the thing. Why does everything have to be dark and grungy and realistic and like you need to shine a flashlight on the screen to even see what you're looking at? It's bizarre choices to me because animation. Let me fix my microphone. Hopefully this is a little better. Animation is so vibrant and fun and colorful. You think of the Under the Sea episode song. I mean, that's punching things up even more. And a friend like me from Aladdin, they really punch and take it places where you couldn't realistically because it's animation. It's fun. And then even the real world for Little Mermaid is still incredibly beautiful and colorful and we just need some old school cinematographers with color and light and contrast and just not dark. Like I think I don't know. Do we blame The Dark Knight for this or Batman Begins? Because yeah, Batman Begins. It just everything has to be dark and grungy and real. Like no, it doesn't. It can be fun and pretty. So the only live action, this is Lauren, the only live action remake I loved were Aladdin, Jungle Book, and Lilo and Stitch. Yeah, we have quite a few to choose from. So, all righty. I did have an article that was about Hexed. I think I'm going to save that for next week. So I'm going to read up a little bit more on the authors. The directors of Hexed were at Annecy, which is the big film festival in France. And so they had kind of not a panel, but they were on stage talking, for lack of a better term, a presentation that they were doing. And there are 3 directors of Hexed, which I didn't realize until just now, which the modern Disney / animation pipeline where you have to have so many directors is very interesting to me. There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. And, I guess I could pull it up real quick. I'm not going to read through it, but I will say, I like the colors in Hexed. Looking at this poster right here, the purples and the pinks and the teals, I love it. That alone is really interesting to me, and I really like that. But we shall see. Directors are Jason Hand, Fawn, Vera Sunthorn, and then there was another one mentioned, Josie Trinidad. See, you can see all my notes. These were just the quotes that I was going to read, and then it keeps going. I was like, I got to get started on this live stream. So, okay, we had another question. Let's see. So I can read that next time and we can talk a little bit more about, Lauren says, I pray your foot feels better. Thank you. What flavor soap do you make? I love ocean scents and fruit flavors. So I actually make tallow soap and I do an unscented. So this is like more of a natural type of soap, not I really like going to boutiques or different soap stores and they have the really bright, fun, colorful soaps. And those with a lot of like synthetic pigments and they have really cool fragrances and smells. But that's not the kind of stuff that I make. Mine are very natural. I use tallow in it. So like tallow very is crunchy, that's from beef. So mine has tallow, coconut oil, olive oil, hemp seed oil, castor oil, and then I either make it unscented, because a lot of times people are using the soap because they have eczema, or like some people just really don't like fragrances, which is really interesting. They want nothing to do with them. Just so there's unscented, and then I just do lavender. Maybe at some point I would do, some other scents here and there, but I haven't yet. So yeah, I should do a little giveaway of my stuff for people who join on live stream. Maybe I'll do that next time. Lauren also says, I'm excited for Forgotten Island. I hope you have a blessed night. I'm excited for your next live stream. Well, thank you. And let's see. The Aang trailer had an epic feel and beautiful animation. I haven't seen the leak, so I'm seated to stream this. Avatar is S tier anime. Yes, it is. This is going to be, I haven't seen the leak. Obviously, the leak came out a few months ago. Tons of people saw it, but I didn't. And I'm excited for it because the original is so good. Korra was kind of a letdown, but I'm gonna see it nonetheless. I really would wish that they would have stuck with their original premise of releasing this in theaters. And I thought maybe, okay, well, it's already out there. Why don't you just? But it's kind of hard to get theatrical. Like, oh, just kidding, we're changing this. I think it's easier to flip the switch and go digital and streaming than it is to flip and go, in theaters. But just a few showings, couple hundred theaters. Come on. Maybe one night. I mean, do what the Digital Circus did. Just do one weekend, like just an opening weekend, and then boom. I don't know. Jeremiah also says, I also love the quote that he's hot, he's tall and ripped, but not quite the adult avatar that he needs to be yet. That made me chuckle. I'm sure the fangirls will be appreciative. That made me think of our Masters of the Universe episode. It made us, we were just commenting on like, oh, they have like the costumes are great and the muscles are great. It was like, it comes off very thirsty. That's not what I meant at all, but Chelsea kind of did. And I was just laughing at her. She was like, no, it's great. So good. Maybe that's why I like Masters of the Universe, the rippling pectorals. So, all right, guys, that's all I have for today. So if you have ideas or topics for future live streams, let me know in the comments of this one. And before I, as I start doing my research for the next week, if there's like a news story or a trailer, just post it here on this live stream and I will go ahead and try to include those for the next ones. So, okay. So on the docket, we have, I'm going to be doing Moana. I'm going to be doing Minions and Monsters. So those episodes are going to be coming up. And then what's next after that as far as animated films? I mean, I think Moana's the big one. People are really interested to see how's this going to do? Why was it released so late? We'll have sorry, I can't talk right now. We will have box office for that. So we can compare it maybe to some of these other live actions and see how it compares. But we also have the Patreon that's back up. So you go to rotoscopers.com/patron or Patreon, both direct to the same place. And you can sign up to be a patron there. Getting a few things back up and running with that. Going to be opening a Discord. There were a few other things that I was adding, but you can check out the different tiers and perks. You get ad-free episodes. You get bonus content with every single episode. It's anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes of extra content that gets cut, or just for fun, like our pre-show, like something that's not pre-show. It's not really pre-show. It's just me and Chelsea kind of shooting the breeze before we're like, all right, you ready to record? Okay, cool. It's just our conversations. Like you're a fly on the wall with us before we get started. Things like that I'm going to go ahead and just include. And so you have your own private RSS feed that you can either listen to directly on Patreon through their app, or you can upload it to your podcatcher of choice, and then it will just automatically upload the episodes there. I'm trying to get it. Yeah, I'm trying to do some things behind the scenes, just waiting for some permissions from other people to see if I can do that. But yeah, so wish me luck for Moana. Is anyone else seeing Moana this weekend? Guess we'll find out next week. All righty. Thanks, guys. Until next time. See you later.